Hello, and welcome to the Koi Pond Studio podcast, a very special episode today because we are 1 week away from launching. And so we thought we'd spend this episode talking you through all of our designs so that you know what's coming up. We have 9 different designs to talk you through, so let's do it. As always, I'm joined by my co-host and co-founder, my beautiful and talented wife, Casey.
Hello.
If you're wondering, what happened to your nose, Pete? The answer is nothing. I'm just wearing a nose strip that helps me breathe. So
Yeah.
that's why that's there. Cool.
Yeah. And we hope that it makes the breathing noises not as loud this time, but we'll see.
Don't know what you're talking about. Okay, let's get into it. So our first design is our Dutch oven.
Yes, so our Dutch oven design from our kitchen and coffee collection. This was actually the first design that I came up with in my head when I was pitching the idea to you as a business. And it's inspired by our Dutch oven, our Le Creuset, that we got as a wedding gift from your brother and his wife. And we use it all the time. We bake bread, we make stews, boil chicken, loads of things. We probably use it like once a week at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just super versatile, and I feel like loads of people have a strong connection and love for their Dutch ovens. So I thought it would be a perfect canvas to want to stitch and to design.
It's not only versatile, but it's so pretty.
It's true. It is like its own piece of art, the actual crockery.
Yeah, it's one of those pieces of kitchen equipment where you're like very happy to leave it out on the counter just because it looks so nice.
Yeah.
Any tips on stitching?
So with this design, we've got 3 different reds to really encapsulate the gradient that you see on Le Creuset Dutch ovens. So when you stitch this, I would recommend that you stitch it in good lighting, because sometimes it's difficult to see the difference between the light red and the medium red. But if your lighting's not good enough, we do provide a stitch chart so you can kind of double check that the stitches are the correct colors, at least how I design them. But then once you've stitched, I would probably start with the light red and then maybe do the dark red, and then you can fill in the medium color. But once you've done that, it's really stitch what you see, fill in the blanks. So you only need the chart for a little bit. The rest should be very intuitive to stitch.
Exactly. And what does it look like stitched?
Oh yes. So stitched, it looks like this. And yeah, you can really see the nice gradient. Gives it that 3-dimensional round effect.
Yeah. So we hope you like it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to putting this in our kitchen. And then, I don't know, maybe if it takes off, we'll do other colors and...
Other kinds of Dutch oven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell the story about when I first told you this idea?
Yeah. So when we were first sort of just spitballing the idea of doing this needlepoint business, it just so happened that we had just finished watching a YouTube video about Le Creuset and how people are just like huge fans of this brand and the cookware that they have. And we were like, well, we're huge fans of our Le Creuset Dutch oven. Wouldn't it be nice if...
Well, I think it was specifically the fact that we were talking in the morning, what designs would we do? I was like, oh, people love their Dutch oven, their Le Creusets. And then that video had come up, and I was like, it's a sign. We've got to do it. Yeah. That was the green light for the business, I think.
Yeah, it seemed like such a good idea. So yeah, we think you guys will like this one. We hope you guys like it, and we'd be happy to make more if it's popular.
Awesome.
Right, next.
So next up, we've got another design from our kitchen and coffee collection. It is our stand mixer, which is probably my favorite bit of kitchenware that I use. Because I am the baker, you're the cook. I remember I was probably 16 and I had discovered my love of baking because while my siblings are very creative, like they're artists, they draw, they paint, they do theater and sing, all that. I really didn't have that in me until recently. I've obviously gotten more into designing, but I found baking, and that was something that I could use to express my creativity. So I remember that Christmas I got a stand mixer as a gift, and I loved it so much. But then when I moved to the UK, it was too heavy for me to bring. So then actually we got a stand mixer as a wedding gift as well. So yeah, I just wanted to make a design that shows my love of my KitchenAid, my stand mixer, and my love of baking, because yeah.
Yeah. We really got kitted out for our wedding, didn't we?
Yes, our family really loves us.
Yeah, very generous. And I think there's a lot of parallels between baking and crafting, right?
Yes. So, while cooking is definitely no recipe needed, just cooking with vibes, throw things in a pot, it'll probably turn out all right. Baking is very much, follow the recipe, follow the formula. It's essentially chemistry that you can eat, which is me in a nutshell, right? Which is why I love textile arts, because there is a pattern that you follow, and it is creative, and you create art, but you're doing so within guidelines, so it feels safe in a way, and there's structure. And I think that's how my brain works when it comes to art.
I'm sure it's no surprise to any of you watching that Casey's not only an amazing crafter, but she's also an incredibly good baker. I remember one time you made me a birthday cake, and it was like the most moist, delicious birthday cake. But we had some extra. So I brought some in for my colleagues, and then they literally took one bite and they were like, your wife should be a baker. Like, it's so good. So yeah, I think it makes sense that you're good at both baking and crafting. They feel very similar.
I'm just very good at following rules and following instructions. So this is what it looks like stitched. I think it's really fun. I've seen other designs of stand mixers on the market, especially in America. This design I specifically made with beginners in mind. So it is 13 count, which it has bigger holes than 18 count, which I think most of the other designs are. And then I kind of also put my own twist on it, where I made the bowl be a glass bowl so you can see into it and see the batter that you're making, and then the paddle attachment as well. So I hope other people enjoy it and want to display this in their kitchen as well.
Yeah, we'll definitely display it in our one. I think it looks great.
Amazing.
Awesome. Okay, we've got one more.
Oh,
go on.
When it comes to choosing this canvas, I think this is an amazing one to pick if you want to use all of the 3 beginner stitches that we have in our guide. You can utilize the continental stitch, basket weave stitch, and the couching stitch all in this canvas. So if you're like, I want to do it all, this is the canvas for you.
Yeah, it's a really good one for learning, and we have tutorials for how to do all of those different stitches on our Instagram and on our YouTube.
Awesome.
Okay,
This is so American.
Awesome sauce. All right, next one.
Next one, and the final one in our kitchen and coffee collection, is our hourglass coffee maker design, which is inspired by our beloved Chemex that we use every morning. I got our Chemex as a Christmas present for you in,
2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago. But the real gift was the fact that I now make coffee for Pete every morning. Even when I go into the office and I'm not drinking the coffee, I still make it for him. So it's an ongoing gift with good returns.
I'll be vulnerable here. We used to be instant coffee people. I know, but
and we still are sometimes.
and we still are occasionally, if we're being really honest and vulnerable. But most of the time now we make coffee in our glass coffee maker, and we absolutely love it. I think the quality of coffee is excellent, and yeah, would highly recommend.
Yeah. And we specifically use Coal Town coffee.
Yeah, shout out to another small British company, Coltown Coffee from Wales, where I'm from. Excellent coffee.
Our go-to. So this design was really fun to create and as well as stitch. It was a bit of a challenge to come up with a way to choose colors that represent glass and portray something that's see-through and round. But I think I did a decent job, and you can see, you know, the coffee maker pretty well. This is what it looks like fully stitched. And yeah, I think it's really cute, especially with the collar. That's just so iconic to the Chemex coffee maker.
Yeah, I think it looks great. And you can see how once it's stitched, it really brings the colors out in a lot of vibrancy. So yeah, big fan of this one.
Top tips for this one is that it's really good for just getting the basics down. You can do your continental stitch on these thinner areas, but then you can also practice your basket weave on the background. This corner here is a great place to start because it's quite large to start learning how to basket weave. And once you've done a couple rows, you'll probably pick it up pretty quick. So excellent beginner canvas for you to try out.
Yep.
So up next we've got our Romantiseed collection. So this is probably my favorite genre of books to read. Yeah, growing up, I think I've always loved romance. I love that, you know, warm feeling, and just, I'm quite a girly girl, I think. But anyways, and growing up, I loved reading. You know, I was a voracious reader. I spent my summers just doing reading challenges for the library. I don't even know what the prize was, but I just...
Pride.
Yeah, honestly, to say, oh, I read this many chapters, these many books. So, yeah, reading has always been a part of me. Except when I went to uni, I really stopped reading. And I think it's a bit of a shame. But I just got really busy doing other things. Life happens. And when... I picked up a couple books here and there. But I think it was definitely the midst of COVID. I had moved back to America because my visa had run out for a period of time, and I was just bored and looking for something to do. And I picked up ACOTAR, or A Court of Thorns and Roses, as many people have done recently. And that was kind of my gateway back into reading. There's something very addictive about those books. And yeah, it's a major inspiration for our collection here. So let's start with that. Here we have our Batwings design from our Romantiseed collection. So this was clearly inspired by the you know, fae men that may have, well, and women that may have some bat wings, and I thought it was really cool. I think while I am a girly girl, I do like kind of edgy designs as well. So I wanted to encapsulate something that was like kind of night court-esque and just a bit cool. And that's, yeah, the Batwings design.
Yeah. So I actually stitched this one, and I gotta say, this one is a pleasure as a beginner. If you want to really get into basket weaving, which is a very enjoyable stitch to learn, this one is super good for basket weave, because something about the orientation of the wings, the way that they like slope diagonally, allows you to just like basket weave a very long section without any interruption. And it's very enjoyable to do.
Do you want to show off your fully stitched design?
And so this is one that is fully stitched.
I think Pete did a great job on this.
Thank you.
Yeah. You really improved, especially the back of your work was very clean. So well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think I did a good job choosing colors that make it look like bat wings, but then also have a dark background, but you can still see the wings.
Yeah, I think you can see once it's stitched, the vibrancy really comes out, and so the background stands out a lot more from the wings compared to when you see it unstitched.
Yes. So my top tip when stitching this one would be, again, it depending on how good your lighting is, it might be difficult to see the difference between the medium and the black outline of the wings. So we will provide a chart for this as well, so you can just refer to it to make sure the stitch is the correct color that the design is. And when you stitch it, you can start with the light color as normal, but then I would probably do the black outline next, and then that way you can go back and do the medium gray color and just kind of fill it in. At that point, it's just stitch what you see. Very mindless. It's just 1 or 2 stitches here and there that you might be like straining your eyes a bit, but the chart should iron out any of those concerns.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think this on a bookshelf next to your ACOTAR series would be nice.
And we should also say, they also kind of look like dragon wings too.
Yes.
So we could have easily named this dragon wings rather than bat wings, because dragon wings are essentially big bat wings.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, right? Like they're inspired by bat wings.
Sure.
So yeah.
But so any of your leathery wings, maybe we'll do a scaly wings extension onto this if this does well. I'm open to it. Doing other color variants.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome sauce. Okay. Next one.
So next one, carrying on from our bat wings, we have our fairy wings design, which I love this. I think this one might be my favorite. This speaks to the inner child in me that loved fairy books growing up. I loved fairy books. I love watching fairy TV shows and just like role-playing fairies. I had like stuffed animals that were like cats with fairy wings. Like, this is very on brand for me. And I think 6-year-old Casey, or I guess maybe 8-year-old Casey 20 years ago, would be very pleased to know that I'm launching a business with fairy wings as its initial design. Yeah,
you really smashed this one. Like I think people look at this one and they go, yep, that's pretty. Like, and we've got some initial feedback from some of our friends, and they were like, yep, like fairy wings, super pretty, instantly, yeah, they just get it. So I'm hoping you guys love it too. We think this one will be really popular.
Yes, so this is what it looks fully stitched, and yeah, it's just really sweet, I think. In my head, this is kind of like our spring court fairy wings, and then maybe we'll have future variants that could be like the different seasons. So summer, winter, fall, or autumn. Autumn. Would love to do that as well. But
Totally.
I don't know, in my head, these are very like Tinkerbell green. And we haven't done it yet, but I do have an idea to use specialty threads to make them sparkly as well.
Yeah, I'd say if you're into that whole kind of like whimsy aesthetic with like pink and lots of bright colors, this one would just fit right into that kind of interior decorating style. So yeah, really recommend this one.
And this one's super easy for beginners. It is stitch what you see. The colors are really easy to see. You can practice doing basket weave and continental. I think there might be a stitch or two where you might want to use the couching stitch, but otherwise just stitch using the normal tent stitch.
Yeah, it's probably one of the easier ones to do. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm gonna say awesome after all of them because they're all awesome.
All right, now we have our edgiest canvas.
Is it? Yeah.
I think so.
Our edgiest canvas, as Pete says. This is our Love Bites design from our Romantasy collection. This is obviously lovely vampire teeth and lips with a little bit of blood. And yeah, I don't know what to say other than I do love me a little bit of vampire romance. During COVID, when we were long distancing for a while, and I was just reading so many books. We would call every day, and I would give you the synopsis of the books I was reading. And Pete was very patient as I explained different plots of very interesting vampire romances. Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very sophisticated plots. Yeah.
Where, you know, they're a princess, but then also a vampire.
Of course.
But they're also a god.
Of course.
To name a few. But yes. I just always loved the idea of, I don't know, the more mythical, monstrous romances, I guess. I don't think I was really a twihard growing up. I did read the books. I think I was in middle school when Twilight came out. And I remember my eldest sister had the books and was reading them. And I snuck them because they were very trendy and I wanted to be in the know. And then I got to the fourth book, Breaking Dawn, and my mom took it away from me because, spoiler alert, there is sex scenes in Breaking Dawn. And I was not allowed to read that. So I've actually not finished the Twilight series. But I know enough. I've seen enough clips on TikTok of of the Breaking Dawn edits.
Right.
Anyways, this is my Love Bites design. I think it's a bit tongue-in-cheek with the, you know, obviously bites is a nice vampire play on words, and, you know, sometimes love does bite. Yeah.
Oh, I never even realised that double meaning.
Oh, yeah.
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 Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
So this is what it looks like fully stitched, and I really love the colors of this design. I think the black background, and then you've got these like nice lips, and then the blood really stands out, which perhaps sounds a bit funny, but I think it is striking, and yeah. Again, I think would look good on a bookcase with some of your vampire romances.
100%. And we've made a lot of content around this design. You might have seen our 3 levels of needlepoint video, which we put, frankly, absurd amount of effort into. And we use the Love Bites design as part of that. And so you can really see in that video the potential of needlepoint. Like here we've just used our level 1 stitches, continental basket weave, like the ones that we teach as part of our kits and in our guide. But if you watch that video, you can see how Casey's mixed in some decorative stitches in level 2, and then in level 3 used specialty threads and beading. And when you do that combined, you end up with this incredible amount of texture and color and sparkle that really can bring another elevation to your needlepoint. So yeah, I think Love Bites for me will always be like quite special as we progress on our journey in this business, because like just because we did that video and we showed off like the potential of needlepoint using this design. Yeah.
And this is again a really good one for beginners, because you can stitch this entirely with continental, or you can do basket weave, but it's good for practicing lettering. I specifically designed the letters so you don't have to worry about couching in this case. So if you're a bit more timid and only want to focus on the basic stitches, like the most basic stitches, this is a great one to choose.
Definitely. But don't be scared of couching.
Yes, couching is very easy.
Couching is super easy. Just give it a go. Yeah, once you do it once, you'll be like, oh yeah, I get it. Okay, what's next?
So our final collection is our FemineSTEM collection, which I think this is a very unique idea, very dear to my heart as a FemineSTEM. So this collection was inspired by a couple things, but first of all, the main design here, the coding one, is inspired by Ada Lovelace, who was the first computer programmer who discovered the connection between the Jacquard loom, which uses punch cards to determine, the binary on or off for knits and purls, or even color work, so this thread versus that thread. And she saw the potential to use that for computers and creating programs and different software engineering.
Yeah.
Which is, revolutionary.
Yeah, because she had unique access to the first computer, one of the first computers, which was Charles Babbage's analytical machine. And what's so amazing about her is that through this connection, she realized that the analytical machine could be used for so much more than just number crunching, which was all that Charles had originally envisioned for it, was just it would be a big calculator, basically. But she realized, no, if the Jacquard loom can be used for making flowers and petals and beautiful patterns, then computers could be used for that as well. And that really obviously just revolutionized the direction of programming.
Yeah. So let's start there with our coding variant. I put a lot of effort into this. You can see that there is a binary code around the border of this design, and if you want a little Easter egg, there is a hidden message that you may or may not be able to work out if you want. But no detail was spared when designing this canvas. This might look a bit intimidating just because there are a bunch of numbers, but I can assure you that this is a great one for beginners to learn. You would do a lot of continental stitches and maybe a little basket weave in the background, but it is very easy to just kind of stitch one number, then hop to the next. In this case, because the numbers are so close together that it's only one stitch apart, it's fine for you to carry your thread over one stitch. So it does kind of fly by, and you get into a rhythm because you're doing the same shape, the zeros and the ones each time.
Yeah, so I know there's lots of little bits, but a lot of it can be done on the same threads. So,
and honestly, if you are a Fem in STEM, you've got this. You you are definitely smart enough and crafty enough to figure this out.
Yeah, I love that we went for the black and green.
Yeah.
To it's that classic
hacker
terminal colorway. Yeah.
So this is the stitch design, which I think, the green really pops. I like how there's the two different colors of green. That, gives that hacker vibe.
Yeah.
I've done a bit of coding.
Yeah.
At uni and in my day-to-day, but...
Yeah, you do coding.
Yeah, I do coding.
Yeah.
But useful skill to learn, and I'm, very proud that a woman was, at the forefront of computer programming.
Yeah, the world's first computer programmer.
Love it.
Lovelace it.
Lovelace it. Very good, darling. So our next canvas in the Fem STEM collection is our crafting variant. This kind of ties it. This was the second inspiration for this collection, which is just the fact that there is so much science, technology, engineering, maths, I'm so British now. Mathematics. In crafting, specifically textile arts. When I think about doing sewing projects, that is pure textile engineering, which I think is what scratches an itch in my head. As well as knitting, the fact that you can take, just some yarn, which is a strand of yarn, and turn it into a 3D object is kind of bonkers to me. I do feel a bit like a witch wizard when I do a bit of witchcraft. So essentially this design was to represent that. If you are a crafter doing some kind of textile art, you are a feminine STEM, and I think crafting is an amazing way to practice STEM skills and, you know, yeah, just really let your creativity shine while using these more analytical STEM techniques.
Yeah.
So this is what it looks like fully stitched. I think it looks really cute with all the different crafting motifs along the top and bottom. You might think that this looks really difficult to do because of there's a lot of little icons, but I can assure you this is a very beginner design. You only need to do a continental stitch in order to stitch this entire thing. Although if you want to, you can do a basket weave stitch as well. Yeah, I think the main challenge is honestly just the fact that there's different colors and you have to change your thread a little bit more often than some of the other canvases, but overall it's very simple to do. The main tip, or I guess maybe watch out for, is the fact that the background is white, so that means you can't really see the border of the design, which I think is a bit common in American needlepoint canvases for there not to be a strict border, but maybe going forward we will change this design to include that. But for now, we will provide a stitch chart so that you can see how many rows above and below into the side you need to stitch your background.
Yeah. I'll also say, like, there's no rules really about like how big the background should be. Like, if you, even for any of our other designs, like if you want to do like an extra row and column of stitches, that's totally fine. And like, it's just a suggestion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you should have plenty of thread for the background in order to add a couple extra rows if you need, especially if you're trying to fit it into a frame, and depending on what frame size you get with matting, sometimes you need to stitch extra just to make it look really full. Or if you're doing a ornament, or you're going to turn this into like a little plaque that you hang on a door or something, I highly recommend that you do stitch maybe 2 or 3 extra rows around, just so that when you fold it around to make it an ornament, we'll have a separate video on how to turn it into an ornament. You're not losing the design into where you're seaming it.
Yeah.
I hope that makes sense. If you're a crafter, hopefully that makes sense. You need to allow some seam allowance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say like all of our designs are very beginner friendly, including this one, but this one's maybe a little bit more of a challenge compared to the others, but only slightly. Yeah.
And we do provide very good margins as well, so that you can have plenty of room to work into turning it into whatever your dream object is, whether that's a pillow or framed or an ornament.
Yeah.
I think the final tip I would give is just be aware that because the background is white and you're stitching in white, make sure before you finish it fully that you've not missed a stitch. When I was framing Pete's design, I had noticed a couple stitches that he had missed, which is very easy to do. And I've done it before as well. So you just want to go over, and you should do this for all your canvases anyways, but I think because it's white on white, it's even harder to see sometimes. But yeah. And then it's just very easy to go in and fill those in.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Great. Next up, the very last one.
Yes, so our very final design is our DNA design. I kind of, what is the inspiration for this? I don't know. When I think science, I think DNA.
Yeah.
Maybe I work for King's College London currently, and I believe that's where DNA was discovered.
Well, I think it was more that we wanted to have like a computer science, a natural science, and then like crafting science, right?
Yeah.
And so this is our like natural science.
Yeah. I should say, I have a master's in chemistry, so you would think I would do a chemistry design, but
Like molecules or something.
yeah, maybe. Maybe if people are interested in other STEM subjects, we can expand into that. But I think there was something about the, DNA double helix going across the top and bottom that really tickled the design itch in my brain that, I don't know, molecules didn't quite do. And I think it's when you compare this to, let me just hold up the crafting design as well. I wanted to do something where it wasn't just one object, so it's a different border. So I think that was the main inspiration that I could do something long.
Yeah, and let's show the stitched version because I think the colours look really good on this one.
I think it's quite fun. This
yeah, the pink and the blue.
Bright pink and blue. I think, yeah, it's just like a little bit feminine, a little bit, I guess, masculine, but I don't know. The colors just, I don't know.
They just work together. The pink and blue classic combo.
Yeah.
Looks really good. Yeah.
And this is another great design for those that want to practice using all 3 stitches in our guide. So you can do your continental stitch, you can do basket weave stitch, especially on the background, and then you can do the couching stitch on the left leaning diagonals, like these ones. You actually stitched this one.
I also stitched this one. This was my first time using couching, and like I've said many times, couching is really easy. So don't be intimidated by the idea of doing couching stitch.
Yes. So I did a lot of testing when creating these designs, and there was a lot of R&D when it came to the DNA motif and figuring out how I wanted to design it, if I wanted to do it so that you can stitch it just using a continental stitch, but I kind of landed on the fact that it does look better with just a single diagonal. So that's kind of why we included the couching stitch. I think it just really elevates the work without making the design look too bulky. And then it allows me to do some more intricate designs that aren't that crazy to stitch.
And that reminds me, there's actually a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes that you guys maybe are not aware of when it comes to each of our designs. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so each of these designs have gone through thorough R&D. So my process begins in an app called Stitchly, where I will chart out the designs, essentially making a pixel art version for each different canvas. But I don't just leave it there and then send it off to the printers, because there is a difference between pixel art squares and then how it's stitched, especially with a tent stitch. So because the tent stitches are slanted to the right, yes, to the right slightly, it can affect especially letters and subtle diagonal lines, such as here on the DNA strands. So I do have to go in and stitch everything and then go back to my Stitchly chart and make adjustments and then restitch little areas as well. So everything has been tested before it was sent to the printers.
Yeah.
And I think it's a key process to make sure that what you envisage is what you get in your final product.
Yeah, totally. And there's so many adjustments that we made along the way, and you had to like paint sections for us to stitch and practice stitching. So all in all, you're probably looking at like 20 to 30 hours per design if you include all the stitching time.
Yeah.
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 It's a lot of work.
Like we said, it's been 6 months of testing and prepping. When I came to you with this idea, I wanted to do it right. And I know what I want out of a design, and I know if things aren't going to line up properly, it's going to bother me. So that's why I put the extra effort into something I would be proud to have someone else stitch.
Yeah, and I think you guys will really enjoy our products. Great. Awesome. Okay, thank you all so much for watching this special episode of the Koi Pond Studio podcast. And we're about to film another podcast straight away, talking about beginner mistakes, or rather just top tips for beginners. So we'll see you there. Bye.